Hello everyone and welcome to FilmDirt. Following our little series looking back and reviewing the Alien and the Predator movies has been interesting, let's say. Both characters have had their ups and downs in certain films, because I also reviewed the AVP films as well. As I've covered all the Alien films up to this point, it's time to return to the rest of the Predator series. So if you're regular to FilmDirt, welcome back, or if you're brand new here, a warm welcome to the FilmDirt Lounge. So let's take a look at Predators, which came out in 2010, and this is a Robert Rodriguez Presents. It's got a great cast, headed by Adrien Brody as Royce. Now, straight away, this raises the biggest issue I've got with this film, really, in that I can't really see Adrien Brody in this role comfortably. Fantastic actor, of course, and I think he's got a real screen presence. He's done some very good work in the past, but I don't think this is his movie. I just felt him heading this apparent action movie and trying to be a tough guy. I really didn't think it suited him. They've given him a gruff voice, and it's definitely amplified because I know he doesn't speak that way, and I've heard him speak in other films, and I think it's really obvious and stands out. He's almost as deep as me. But if he was just a normal person that was apparently just thrown into this situation without the voice, I think it would have drawn in the viewer more. However, I do like a lot of this movie, but it's definitely lacking. One of the plus points is that we dropped into this film suddenly, but literally dropped in by throwing random people out of their spaceship. They've got people from all walks of life here. We're not bombarded with too much backstory and lore, and sometimes it's nice to be just dropped into a movie like this. So that aspect I like, and as we progress through the first few scenes, that's the time to actually learn who these characters are, because they don't know each other and we don't know them. And all these characters here, they're not really jumping out of the screen at you like they were in the first movie. Those were larger than life, and I thought that fitted that movie. But this one here, you've got some really unsavoury guys, and literally people larger than life like Laurence Fishburne and Danny Trejo, in my opinion. So to an extent, we do have big characters here, and it's just a shame people like Danny Trejo didn't last the full movie. I think he's absolutely superb. He's got that face and he's got that character that we want to see, so it's a shame that he didn't last longer. So as in the first movie, we're now back in the jungle, and that was a real marketing point for this film, wasn't it? Because we'd been away from the jungle for a while, and it was just nice to have this setting, this backdrop that would just remind us of good times past, although not set on Earth apparently, as they later discover. So where are we? We don't know. It doesn't matter. All we know is that we're just in another game set up by the Predators. They need some target practice, and they get off on having a one-on-one contest with as tough a person from each race, I assume, and they like to test themselves as intergalactic warriors in some twisted sense of honour. And just like the alien xenomorph, 20th Century Fox really landed on something that the audience found appealing. It's just a shame that a few of the films didn't really, meet the same standard of interest. And I'd include this one in that. Apart from the few good aspects littered here and there, and I do like some of the characters, I think overall this isn't really as interesting as it should be. And for stretches, I found it quite boring. The interesting parts that got me thinking was the turncoat Edwin. He was the only one that landed without a weapon, so I immediately thought, well, he's going to be the last one standing. Predators apparently don't attack people that are unarmed. They like to have an even match. But with him being the villain, played by Topher Grace, who I thought was good, I thought we just needed someone big, not physically big, but just a bigger character that would have elevated this film from, just another mindless action film. Because the action is good in parts. There's a bit more CG here, and I'm looking back at the Predator dogs now. Although, are they Predator dogs? Even though they've got the features, they bleed red blood, and the normal Predator species doesn't. So I found that odd. Maybe we can look past that. They're dogs after all, so we don't need to have too many answers. And they're pretty well animated. In some scenes I felt it looked a little bit too much they were in a studio. And I haven't looked if they were actually in a real jungle somewhere. I think it doesn't matter whether they were or not, but the fact that it looked like a studio at certain points really took me out. So let's give this a score. I'm going to say 3 stars. It's not as high as it should be, as we know, but it's a fairly good enough action film. It's a bit nuts in places, which is great, with Robert Rodriguez's fingerprints very evident, even though it's directed by Nimrod Antal, with a good cast as well. All these characters are great, and they do look like they've been plucked at random from the underworld or somewhere. Royce is apparently special forces, and if he just relaxed his voice a little bit and we had a little bit of a more realistic setting, I thought this would have at least got 4 stars. But for what we got, I think 3 stars is fair. I saw a lot of critics actually give it less, but it's not that bad. Okay, I'm going to thank you all again for joining me. Join me again for next time, because up next is The Predator. See how inventive they are with the titles here. So I'll speak to you again shortly. Please like and subscribe. It was good talking to you. All the best and take care.